Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this evening broadcast. I am your host. I am Mazes. Okay. Um, Thank you very much, as usual, for joining me this evening. And as you know, I think I'm slightly over the time. So those of you who have been waiting, sorry about joining slightly late. Um, A lot has been happening. I hope you can hear me. And if you can hear me loud and clear, for those of you who are joining me for the first time or who are seeing my face for the first time, may I tell you that I am Mazi Ezoke. And you're welcome to Njenje Media TV. Njenje Media TV is part of the Njenje Media Group. You can find us here on Facebook, YouTube. You can also find us on www.njenjemedia.com, where you can read your verified news, not propagandas. We do not dwell and engage in propaganda. Again, not many people like what we do, but hey, as long as you have conscience, then we are good to go. So, having welcomed you now, you can, before we kick off, if you could, subscribe to these channels if you haven't. Share this video for others to join us to have this conversation this evening. And if you are part of us already, kindly, if you may, support the channel so that we, by the virtue of the fact that you share our content, at least the YouTube algorithm, especially those of you watching me from the YouTube, will help us reach more subscribers and will help us reach more people. Now, before I start today, there are a couple of things I'll probably want to address. And one of them is the way and manner our leaders treat us. The way and manner our leaders treat us. Some of you that follow Njenje Media might have seen, I've seen some comments now. So people, don't never mind. I am proudly on your dot, you know. And proudly one of those, one of the dots in the circle. No apologies. So some call me spare parts dealer, and I say I accept, and I am proudly a spare parts dealer as well. Hence, the reason why we've added it here, that that dot. Oh dear. So people, again, if you're on your dot as well, if you're a dot man, a dot woman, let's see your hand. In the next couple of days, you will see my own dot T-shirt. We know the forehand now. Come on, we know the forehand. So people, good evening once more, everyone. Yes, I can see the Biafran First Son is already there. You're welcome to this stream this evening. For some reason, is everybody gone to bed? Not so many people are coming up. What's happening, people? Why are not so many people here? Yeah, dot man. Kenry Bar. Dot I'm proud. Yeah. In fact, I tell you, see even my T-shirt, we are dotted. We are a dotted people. Even my T-shirt is dotted, a dotted people. Sorry about that. There is nothing you can do about it. We are dotted and proud. And coming back to our leaders and the conversation this evening, let us start with the Arise this morning, the conversation they had. That will bring me to the killing in EZ. The Z people are, by the virtue of definition, they are Ndibo who currently live in Benue State. Now, their story has nothing, their story is not because they are deep, but what their story is, it shows how sometimes our humanity is somewhat subdued by those who ought to know better. These are a people by no means am I saying that they are all probably from that area, but the fact is that they are human and that somebody, some group of armed people went in there to massacre them, kill them, and what we ended up seeing was when one of their rep raised that issue in the National Assembly, it personally broke my heart to see the National Assembly people, everybody, nobody cared. As if these people, we're talking about, the guy said over 130 people. Do you know what 130 people means? Many of you watching me now from the United Kingdom, from Europe, from UAE, wherever you're watching me from, imagine where 10 people die in your country, how that country will feel. Not to talk of 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 80, 100, 110, 120, 130 people died. And somebody is talking about that there was no shock, there was no sober moment. Everybody just going around as if they are just mad people everywhere. Anyway, let me start on a very low tone and let's take, first of all, go back to our eyes, then I will bring the other issue later.
With reactions to President Muhammadu Buhari's address on Democracy Day.
So, once again, before we go further, on Democracy Day, on President Buhari's address, that elicited the comment of dotting or no dotting. Again, dotting or no dotting, but here we are. Let's see what, obviously that's the way I do my analysis, and I will let them speak, then I would indulge them as well.
Many Nigerians have shared mixed reactions, especially with regards to the president's claim that his administration has lifted 10.5 million Nigerians out of poverty in the last 2 years.
So, did they hear that? In the last 2 years, that the Nigerian government said they have lifted 10 point. But again, you see, what government what they don't like is when you engage in big data analysis and you begin to really look into what is informing these numbers that many believe that they are exaggerated.
Let's take a quick playback before we take a reaction.
In the last 2 years, we lifted 10.5 million people out of poverty.
So you do not have any doubt to know that we've lifted 10.5 people out of poverty. So he didn't hear that from my mouth. He said it. We've lifted 10.5 people, 10.5 million people out of poverty. That's what we've done. The question is that true? 10.5 million people.
Farmers, small-scale traders, artisans, market women, and the like. I am very convinced that this 100 million target can be met, and this informed the development of a national poverty reduction with growth strategy.
Let's take a comment from Arinze Chuku, who wrote, "How could you have lifted 10.5 million Nigerians out of poverty while unemployment, inflation, and insecurity have displaced people and their businesses? The destruction of farmlands and killings of farmers are at their highest level ever." Buhari, mathematics is not an opinion. I mean, this is the rhetoric Tundu everywhere, but the president...
But the challenge here is that when you begin to challenge this, you see, I don't know how we have reduced rational conversations to mundane things, because you begin to look at this with empirical, verifiable data to say that these numbers doesn't add up. Rather than come back with a counter argument or something that will make sense, it appears that what you will see from those who ought to know better will be a case of ethnicizing it and telling you, or sometimes emotional blackmail, telling you, oh, you're giving that analysis because you do not like the government. Well, who cares? You don't need to like a government. Government is there to do something. But again, how can we be talking about 10.5 million people who lifted out of poverty? It will be ridiculous, because when you begin to look into it, what you hear is that the people who gave 5,000. Honestly, I do not know how 5,000 one-off, not that you give them 5,000 every month, just one-off, one time. You give people one-off 5,000. How does that lift them out of poverty? How? How? Yet we were promised that if you voted them again, even when Jesus Christ, let me not start. Let's
disclosed that his administration disbursed 5,000 naira to 1 million Nigerians using a rapid response register and an advance 20,000 naira to 750,000 beneficiaries of the conditional cash transfer program, and provided 1.37 million Nigerians with palliatives from COVID.
You see, God, why? God, why? How can people say that they provided palliative to people and they calculate it as people they've lifted out of poverty because you've given palliative? Anyway, we are not foreigners in this country. We saw how the palliative were provided to us. We saw it. We saw how the palliative were provided to us. We saw how these palliatives were in the warehouses. The region that didn't engage in NSAS, that people did not loot the palliatives. People suddenly discovered where their own food item, their own share is hidden. And people went in there to do justice and collect something that is equal to them. But the government is telling you that this is part of how they have lifted people out of poverty by giving them the COVID palliative. Come on. We can do better.
If you recall that. So a lot of Nigerians are asking, how is it how did that equate to 10.5 million Nigerians? I mean, we need to see the evidence.
It's a perfectly reasonable question to be asking. To go back to your tweet, opinion and fact are completely different. Right. It's actually quite staggering how many people don't seem to know that. But if we're looking at the World Poverty Clock statistics, and those are, verifiable, more Nigerians are living on less than $1.90 a day, and that is United Nations benchmark that's the definition of poverty. It used to be 2 years ago 77.9 million Nigerians, which is staggering in itself, and now 86.8 million as of this June, as of this month. 86.8 million Nigerians are living on less than $1.90 a day. It's such an injustice. And then we now look at the World Bank, which said a few years ago, 5 years ago, about 40%, we were hovering about the 40% mark of Nigerians living in poverty. As a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, it has risen to 45%. So I'm not sure where this 10 million naira claim, 10.5 million naira claim comes in. But I have to always sort of preface, well, I've already said that before, so it's not a preface, but I have to always say that I'm just personally very grateful that we're having this Democracy Day speech on June 12th at all. And the fact that the past injustices, the past history of this country, that dark chapter has been addressed, was like a healing balm to me personally. But our current day challenges must be addressed. Yes. We're not going to live life looking backwards. Just because I'm grateful for that nod to the past does not mean that the present and future challenges must not be addressed. We are a long way to go. I cannot believe I just said out of my mouth 86 million Nigerians are living in poverty. It's staggering.
Now, 86, you see, when we get to analyzing the nitty-gritties of these stats, then some of you it will boggle the mind, because 86 million people are living in poverty. Not poverty as in poverty that you hear. It's poverty of the highest order. Poverty, anyway, let's continue, because this is mind blowing.
Well, if you look at the efforts of the Buhari administration since 2015, poverty alleviation, poverty reduction have been one of the major hallmarks. And at every turn, both the president and his ministers talk about, alleviating poverty, either through the Economic Growth Recovery Plan or the National Social Investment Plan, or what they call poverty reduction through National Growth Strategy Plan. Okay, in the speech on June 12th, the president tried to provide details. And when he referred to the National Social Register, which was a strategy to document the poorest and most vulnerable households in Nigeria, that, of course, became controversial when it was rolled out in terms of coverage and in terms of how those palliatives were distributed. And then, of course, you have the conditional cash transfer plan, under which people were given 5,000. And then you also had the plan by the National Ministry of Employment and Productivity, under which we saw the Minister of State for Labor distributing hoes and cutlasses and wheelbarrows as a way of, alleviating poverty with 20,000 per month for a period of 3 months. So in terms of that effort, that's what the president was referring to. But what people are querying is, okay, this number, 10.5 million people lifted out of poverty in the last 2 years. People do not believe it. And some researchers have gone ahead to do fact check what the president said. And what they have done is to benchmark it against the effect of COVID-19, which threw so many people out of job.
So meaning if what the president is saying, or what, according to Abati, that those that have done the fact check has come to contradict the president and say that the president is not saying, giving the accurate data. And in this case, I would have, it would be fair to add from my own point of view to say that it means that the president is fluking us. The president is not telling you the truth. I mean,
with unemployment rate in Nigeria today at about 33.3%, with food inflation at 18.12%, with food inflation at 22.27%, headline inflation at 18.12%. Now, and then add to that the general insecurity in the country. So the argument is that 10.5 million is completely improbable, and that the evidence does not support what the president was saying. Now, the second point is that if you look at NBA statistics, even the Nigerian Bureau of the National Bureau of Statistics, does not, the statistics from the Bureau of Statistics does not suggest that, more people have been taken out of poverty. The World Bank, which Tunde mentioned earlier, says that for Nigeria to go out of poverty, right, your growth rate, your GDP growth rate must exceed your population growth rate. If Nigerian population is growing at about 2.73 to 3%, right, and you have inflation rate of 18.12%, unemployment rate of 33.3%, GDP growth of 0.51% during Q1 2021, you cannot say that, more people have been taken out of poverty. In fact, more people have gone into poverty. And which is the position of the World Poverty Clock? That since
exactly. But again, you see, the challenge that we have with the challenge we have with the current government is, by the virtue of the fact that you're stating this obvious fact, next thing you will hear is that, oh, you are from the part of the country that doesn't like the government. I'm like, what on earth are you talking about? Just because when you begin to interrogate facts, then everybody becomes, your enemy. Or some even go as far as saying, oh, you are a PDP agent. So everybody must be mumu. Everybody must be basically an idiot in a country apparently governed by, let me not say it, by the people governed by. But, I think we need a critical mass of the citizens to begin to think critical and more analytical. Because until we begin to question these and begin to throw it back at their faces, so that people, these things are not done, with prejudice. These things are done because someone is lying to our face, saying that 10.5 million people have been taken out of poverty, whereas it's actually more than double the size of that has been dragged into poverty, not taken out of poverty.
2018, more Nigerians have slipped into extreme poverty. As Tuno said, people who live below $1.9, in the country. But in any case, beyond all of this, the evidence of our eyes shows that there is a raging epidemic of empty pockets and empty stomachs inside Nigeria. Okay? But in terms of aspiration, we cannot fault government. It's the eternal assignment of government to create wealth, prosperity, to provide the welfare for the people, and to make sure that an enabling environment is provided for people not only to be able to feed themselves, but also to be secure, to feel safe, and to have a sense of belonging. Poverty is a major crisis we face, and it is not surprising that we've been told that Nigeria has become the poverty capital of the world. We even displaced India in that regard and won a medal for poverty.
Won a medal for poverty. Rufai, your take on the story.
I was excited when you brought this story because I would like to jump on it. And let's do maths now. Let's not do sentiments. The World Bank has 3 thresholds. What we are missing is the fact that this is extreme poverty.
Exactly. Extreme.
The $1.90 a day, if you live on $1.90 a day, that means you are living in extreme poverty. There's another threshold that says $3.30 and a little over $5. So let's even say extreme poverty. Let's say, okay, let's Nigerians just going off extreme poverty mark. $1.90 a day, that's what you must earn. Multiply that by 500, which is the dollar, you get 950.
Yes.
Multiply that by 365 days in a year. I'll do the maths for you. An average Nigerian needs to earn, to just leave the level of extreme poverty, needs to earn 346,750 naira in a year. That's what an average Nigerian needs to earn to be able to be at the level of extreme poverty or go a little bit over extreme poverty. 346,750. Oji, I'll take you back 2 years ago. Nigeria Deposit Insurance Company did say that most Nigerians, only 2% of Nigerians have over 500,000 naira in their bank accounts. So if you are saying you need...
Even, sorry, I said Rufai. Rufai, before you continue, actually, the figure you've just calculated now, $1.90 times 365 is going to give you 346,750. Now let's divide that same number by 12 months so that we know what, even when a family, an individual earns that individual is still living in extreme poverty. Divide that by 12, and that is going to give you 28,895. 28,895. Now the question is, what is the minimum payment or minimum wage? Minimum wage is the one we argue between 18,000 and 30,000. So let's say, okay, every state now pays 30,000. 30,000. Now, what is the variation between 28,895 from 30,000? You're talking about 1,105. 1,105. That is the variation here. Just a difference of 1,000 is, so it means in actual sense that anybody who is working and is earning 30,000 per month is actually living in extreme poverty by every standard. Now, let's start thinking. Let's start thinking. Yet, if everybody who is working and earning 30,000 is living in extreme poverty, yet this is the same people, we are now being told we are lifted out of poverty. Then I then ask, humbly, government, can you tell us how? How? It's that very simple. How did you lift people out of poverty? If by the people you yourself as government pay, and you pay them and they earn minimum wage of 30,000, are those classified as living in extreme poverty, then how are we lifting people out of poverty? Let's conclude with this part.
Need a Nigerian to earn 346,000 naira yearly to be out of extreme poverty rate. And NDIC is saying that the bank accounts they are seeing, most Nigerians don't have up to 500,000. So how do you say you bring 10.5 million people out of poverty? The World Poverty Clock that Tundu quoted, and thank you, beautiful job Tundu for quoting that, says it all. 86 million people are in poverty, extreme poverty in Nigeria. But if you look down that sheet of World Poverty Clock, it puts a very instructive stats there that says rate at which you need to get off poverty. And it says Nigeria needs to get 0.3 people off poverty per minute. But what is the Nigerian current state? Nigeria has minus 4.2 people entering poverty per minute. So 4.2 people, we're supposed to get 0.3 people out of poverty per minute to be able to get off poverty. But Nigeria is putting 4.2 people into poverty every minute, according to the World Poverty Clock.io. These are the stats, these are the figures. I submit the hard evidence to anybody that said they have brought 10.5 million people out of poverty. One thing I'll tell you is that you can skew data, but facts don't lie. Mathematics is not sentiments.
Thank you.
We'll take another story.
Thank you very much, Rufai. I mean, honestly, you know, I love the way you skew this data, and that's, you know, that's what I keep saying. That's my manner of presentation, that we can actually make our points. Because look at the way he just said it. He said, look, watch the word. He says, anybody that argue against this, invariably telling you he's gone back to the president without being insultive, without, you know, he's basically said it that even a damp boot would also understand that these things, how can a nation that ought to be getting 0.3 people per minute out of poverty, the same people sending minus 4.5 people into poverty per minute. Now, 86 million people are in extreme, that is extreme, is, you know, extreme poverty. I mean, me talking to you here, I witnessed the extreme poverty as well. You know, there were times growing up that there was probably nothing to eat, and to eat soup, there is what we call ndele. You know, some of you might know from you get, basically they do with only soup, sorry, not only with palm oil and ogiri. You know, blend it together, add some salt. If you're lucky to have crayfish, that's it. Then you have to swallow it with curry or whatever, and you dare not complain. Or you eat yam with red oil. So it's, you know, looking back, when we used to go to school, our own ice cream were those we put in polythene bags, tie them up, and somebody buys one. In order to share with your friends, they will go to the school wall, will knock it, the ice block would melt. You do your hand like this, they will put small ice. I don't even know what that is. That is color and water. And you do like this. Nobody is talking about washing hands because there were no running water in the schools. If you leave your mama's house and you go to school, whether you do nothing, nobody washes hands until you probably get home. So that is poverty. You know, that's where we call Okwani. I don't know how to describe Okwani. I remember one time, when my wife was studying, they told her to write about poverty. I said, you should go to sleep. If you don't know what to write about Okwani. You know, that we will be coming back from school, the sand will be so hot that we will be looking for, these waters that collect on the road to go put our feet in there in order to cool them down. That is the level of poverty that one has gone through. But sadly, that many, many, many years after, generations that are coming up, we are not able to give them a better future, or even, we are not able to give them better than what we had. Yes, we suffered, but must they also suffer? Yesterday, I saw a video in Instagram. That video really, really, really broke me. This is a video shot in Magodo. Palliatives or whatever, or gift is being given to these people. And that is, this is Magodo in Lagos, or is it Magodo or Madodo, whichever one. It's a kind of a suburb that is underwater. And these things were being thrown like this. And people are jumping inside that dirty black water, trying to get the Indomie. And I'm thinking, and some of them are women, jumping into that water. No one ever thought about, is there any other way we can share this? What of if the ladies, what of infection? Because this water is dirty. And apparently that's where, when they do the bigger business, everything goes. I just looked at it and I just thought to myself, man, there is something fundamentally wrong with us as Africans. It doesn't matter where. North, south, east, west. It doesn't matter where. We just sometimes appear to not have the basic capability to, get basic things done. And here we are arguing. We took 10 people. Listen, if something is audible, if I say now, okay, tell me who has come out of poverty, because I gave you 5,000 on that trader money. And in a forum, but populated by so-called Nigerian elite, quote unquote, in a WhatsApp forum. And we were arguing about this 2 days ago. And I said, I feel somewhat insulted to be in the forum and arguing about 10.5 million people lifted out of poverty by virtue of giving people 5,000. I said, blimey, what's 5,000 going to do for you? 5,000, that's $10. For Christ's sake, 5,000, that's, listen, sometimes, do you know what it is now? Many of you on YouTube watching me now, assuming you donate or you give a super chat 5,000, wake up. Assuming you give a super chat 10 pounds or $10. Actually, you've lifted Mars out of poverty. That is by Buhari's government definition. Man. Sometimes I just look at us. I think something is fundamentally, we are not wired right. Honestly, we are not wired right. We are not wired right. Something is fundamentally wrong. And to know that even some of the elite will still come up and be defending this, I don't even know if that is the one that makes me much, even if it's that one that makes me more sick. Yeah, I hope I hope you can see me. Yeah. Anytime you talk about things that seems to hit them below the belt, my internet will start jumping up and down. Don't worry. I'll start using VPN too, so that you cannot no longer know where I am. Hmm? But if you wish, you can send DSS. Come, because they know they die twice now, but one can't stop saying the things. Again, I'm not. This is not a personal attack. This is basically content analysis, analyzing the data, analyzing the things you put out there. So if that's the reason why you think you can keep taking down my internet, you should go ahead and do that. But again, Shemaz, where are you? So if I tell you where I am now, so that DSS can be here the next minute, wallahi, Mazi is unknown man, unknown man hiding, unknown. I have no location, you know. Many of you believe that Mars is hiding in America. Some say I'm in Germany. Some even say I'm in the UK. So it doesn't matter where I am. At least you're looking at me. But I know that where I am, they can maybe ask MTN to cut my line. But who cares? It's sorry, but I mean, I hear these things. It makes me sick. Sorry, but it really, really gets me and it pisses me off. It's not that one just like lamenting, but every day you hear things that really makes you angry, and that's the reason why I speak. So let us support this on your dot. If you know that you're a dot man, I'm a dot man. I'm a proud one for that. I'm a dot man, and I am proudly the dot in the circle. And I'm also a very proud spare parts dealer. When your car spoils, you come to me. I'm a spare parts dealer, both original Taiwan and used, what we call Belgian. It doesn't matter. If you need connection, come, we connect. So if you're also a dot man, raise your hand. If you're a dot woman, raise your hand. But that dot in the middle, you got to pepper some people. You got to pepper some people at every slightest provocation. Now you hear they have property, as if they break your hand of not having property. So you make reference to somebody's property all the time. The other day, some people issued notice. Oh, we have taken inventory of your properties, if anything. So we'll go after your property. Say property. It's you can see a mindset of someone just sitting on the sidelines. Oh, yes, he has a property. Afterwards, he will go and take property. Please, don't even get me started this evening. Well, I am a dot man. So you don't like it, you can kill my BFB, who cares? Yeah, who cares? You can let MTN or whatever do what they want. I mean, whether man go die twice, is only once. That you people talking. You get me? Everywhere you look at is pure madness. When I talk about this, it's pure madness. I'm going to show us this video now. You people understand why somewhat I appear angry. Because I do not know any of those that were killed. But here in Benue State, someone who is representing them came to the National Assembly to make a presentation saying, my people were killed. My people were killed. It could, those killed could be your mom, could be my mom, could be your father, could be my father, could be my brother or your sister, even our children. Now, for once, can't we, reflect on issues and connect the dots and act as humans? This, we got this from the National Assembly stream last week, but because I've been busy, that's why. But while I was looking at the video today, it's about 3 hours, and I got to this segment. I was just watching it. I got to this segment. To be honest with you, frankly honest with you, tears rolled down my eyes, and I felt like this cannot be normal. Just watch with me, please. Again, if you're joining me for the first time, thank you very much for joining. May I ask that, please, we have close to 200 people watching and only 24 likes. People, we can do better than this. Smash the like button, because when you do, YouTube algorithm lets others know that there is something you just liked, and because you've been watching something similar, they think you might also like, so others can come in. Let us keep coming together as a people. That's the least we can do for ourselves. Yes, the government and those in governance can always try to oppress us, but at least for ourselves, it's free. Like, share, is free. And again, I understand that you use data. For some of us who pay for this data, some don't, maybe company, or maybe sugar mommy, sugar daddy, or you see, today, yank me off again. Well, lie. Now we now, nowhere, we know they go anywhere. Today, keep yanking me off. Keep yanking me off. I would show the world so that the world will see how you people are behaving. It's not a matter of yanking me off, bringing me this, bringing me the other one. I don't use any VPN. I don't kill any person. I'm not going to use any VPN, actually. I'm being honest. I'm not going to use any VPN. I'm not going to use any VPN. So let me bring the video before they come back again. Nonsense people. Dala. Now. Okay. Now, people, I want to tell us about this video. Again, please, whether you're dot man or not man, but bear in mind that in the world, in the 21st century, you're not going to go anywhere without dot. I hope you know that. Dot is the full stop. Even if you're writing English, you're writing English literature, you imagine how you finish writing without dot. You never stop. You still there write, and they will fail you. You get F9. Imagine you want to run a successful business. NjenjeMediaWorld.com, BBC.com, Twitter.com, even Nigerian government.com.ng. So dot. You go pepper some people, but sorry. You see, I tell you people, when they give you when they give you lemon, make lemonade out of it. Business is booming now because of dot. Don't worry. Tomorrow or next, you can come to Njenje Media and you can also order your own dot t-shirt. My own I've ordered already. The day it comes, I tell you I will wear. But today I'm just putting on dot. Please, Ichie Henry Chigos, please, can you stop spamming the Facebook chat, please? I mean, you can't, it's very irritating. You can't just be virtually writing nothing and you're spamming every other person communicating. If they ban you now, you will be shouting up and down that they banned you from that. But it's really, really irritating. Please, can you stop? Right? Thank you. So let's see. Obinna Ifanacho, thank you very much for the super chat. Obinna Ifanacho, thank you. So yeah, even the super chat is dot super chat. So it's like somebody no go hang himself or this one go pepper some people dot super chat. Nah, even in Ifana lol. Some people say Biafran.com. Oduduwa.com. Hariwa.com. Come on. Where they go pack all these people where they write for chat room, come. All of them come from Zambisa. Please stop it. Look, stop it. I don't. Oh, you people are making me. It's very hot here. And whether I'm looking out of the window, whether the DSS is around, and you people are there talking about dot. So, again, I continue without the dot, nothing. This is modern time. So the dot is the end thing, okay? The dot is the end thing. For those of us saying that, Mazi, you want, okay, yes. Before I continue, I was made to understand that someone actually sent us support through PayPal. Thank you very much. That is much appreciated. Let me see if I can find the name. Jerome Chukwuemeka Oba. Jerome Chukwuemeka Oba, thank you very much. Your super chat via, or rather, your support through PayPal is acknowledged. Thank you very much. So now let's get to this. I want, the reason why I'm playing this video, I want us to pay attention. When this man starts making this presentation, watch the reaction of those who have been informed that 130 Nigerians were killed. They committed no crime. They were just sitting down in their homes, maybe having dinner, maybe sleeping, maybe in the other room. It doesn't matter what they were doing, but you have been informed that your fellow citizens were killed, and the following transpired. Be the judge.
Is Honorable Francis Agbo here? Honorable Francis, go ahead very quickly.
Silence, please. Silence, please. All members should resume their seats, please. Honorable Dambata, Chairman House Service, resume your seats.
Now, again, just the thing hasn't started, but just imagine for 1 second. Imagine for 1 second. These are all adults. These are all adults. And they're being called like children. When children get excited that their friend is come over for sleepover, so they just roam around, run like mad. You're shouting on top of your voice, stop, Chukwuemeka, don't do this. Edwin, don't do the other. And this is how somebody is screaming, asking adults. You see, it has happened again, but again, it means someone saying that with the super chat, I've been lifted out of poverty. Maybe, yes, now I've been lifted out of poverty with that super chat. But bear in mind that maybe we need more super chats so that we can fight this internet nonsense. Maybe we need more super chats. Hold on. Where again, these things keep, when it happens, it yanks off the video, but it doesn't matter. Today, we know they go anywhere. No leave, no leave, no transfer. No leave, no transfer. Hold on. So, like
Honorable Speaker, I remain the Honorable Francis Otago. I speak for the long-suffering people of Addo, Poko, Badibo Federal Constituency. I am proudly Benue, a food basket state. Honorable Speaker, I rely on Order 8 and the combined rule of Rule 4 and 7 to move a motion of urgent national and public importance on the killing of 130 people in my.
Did you hear that? I don't know if you're fighting in the chat room, pay attention once more. I want you to hear about the numbers. Now, think for a moment. Many of you here from Germany, from England, from Ireland, from UK, anywhere. Think for a moment. Just think. 5 people killed you're in Maryland. 5 people killed in Maryland. Just imagine how Maryland would be that day. You're in Munich in Germany. 5 people killed in Germany in one day. Just close your eyes. Imagine. Just paint a mental picture how that place will be. Now, someone tells you 130 people were killed.
Importance. On the killing of 130 Izid people.
130. Remember, this is government figure. He is reporting this. I bet you that because this is official figure, you can add another 0. On your own, you can add another 0 if you want to be generous. But even at that, let's stick with the government figure. 130 people, and the following happened.
In my federal constituency, precisely in Ekle ward of Ado local government of Benue State.
Okay, look at this. Look, 130 people killed. Do you see how rowdy, like children, the whole place is? 130 people killed, 130. So does it in any way show that your life, our life, matter at all? 130 people, and you see them walking like dead body that was not given proper burial, walking aimlessly without direction. 130 Nigerians died for Christ's sake. 130 people, and these are people dressed like masquerade, walking up and down. 130 people, not 130 chickens and not 130 cows, for Christ's sake. What manner of representative are these? 130 people, you cannot even, it didn't shock you to nothing shocks us anymore. Nothing. Sometimes I begin to ask questions if our mental health and our mental well-being is still intact, because it appears nothing shocks us anymore. 130 human beings in Benue killed in one night. Their representative is reporting what happened in his own constituencies. Listen, when the first time I watched this, tears really dropped. Oh, jeez.
Right, we're going for prayers.
Go ahead, Honorable Francis.
Even look at the body language of the person even presenting. Look at his teeth. Look at the. Honestly, sometimes words fail me, because don't think that this is only happening with them because they are in the assembly there. It happens everywhere. It happens even those that are not in government. It happens. You just keep wondering, how did we violate ourselves to this level? In the Southeast, the military are occupying everywhere. All we hear now is that the young boys are being shot at sight. Everybody is out of the Southeast now. Sad. Sad. People are being shot. Oh, yeah, he's whatever. He's IPOB, he's ESN, he's this, he's that. Then shot. Well, and I ask, what has happened to apprehension? What has happened to getting arresting somebody alive? Sometimes I think, are we basically suffering from military hangover? That everything is, if we must do something, it must be done in a bad way. That lives, sacred lives, no longer matter. Under former French President Sarkozy, that even Obama flew in to come and, they shot the whole of Paris in solidarity. How many people? You hear they shoot somebody in America, wow. What the argument will be, why hasn't the president visited? It has been 10 hours, it has been 15 hours. Here someone comes into the National Assembly. No one, even the person presenting it, no one takes it serious.
We're going for prayers.
Look at him.
Go ahead, Honorable Francis.
Mr. Speaker, on the 30th of May, 130 of my constituents were murdered.
Hold on, Honorable Francis. Hold on, please.
Honestly, I don't know why if their movement is what irritates me the most. How you watch the American Senate, you watch the UK Parliament, you watch the German Bundestag, you watch other things on this YouTube. Do they move like mad people like this? Even the man presenting, what kind of like a masquerade cap he has? Can't we get serious and do serious? This is human lives we are talking about.
For those who are exiting the chambers for whatever meeting you are going for, can you please exit and leave those of us in chambers alone and quiet, please? Somebody is moving a motion, we can't even hear a thing. Honorable Rotimi, can you please leave the chambers with the same passion that you spoke? Leave quickly, please. Honorable Francis.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I was saying that I have a motion of public importance on the killing of 130 of my constituents.
Now, 4 minutes, 50 seconds has been lost. 4 minutes, 50 seconds because adults with police escort and big cars stealing our common patrimony are moving like Malu. That's why they've lost all time and the guy has to start afresh again.
Precisely the Izi people in a clear ward of Ado local government, Benue State. And I'm relying on Order 8, Rule 4 and 7. And I want to seek the indulgence of Mr. Speaker to allow me to read my motion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. No.
Are you done? Okay, seconder, Osby.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, Honorable colleagues. My name is Honorable Gono Siri. I represent the good people of Unkwere, Wangelisha, Njenje Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Imo State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion of urgent public importance raised by my colleague, Honorable Francis. I do a second.
It was in favor of that this motion is urgent enough. Please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Francis, please move your motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The House knows that in the wee hours of Sunday, 30th May 2021, gunmen believed to be Fulani mercenaries invaded Izi community.
Even the speaker is there telling somebody how now. The speaker is not even paying attention. The speaker.
In Ekile and Ijuban wards in Ado local government of Benue State and butchered about 130 innocent Izi people. The communities invaded are Ndobasi, Ataloga, Odoke, Ndigwe, Ekpufu, all in Ekile ward, while many people were also killed in Obakoto village in Ijuban ward. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, these wards are my direct constituency. I hail from Ijuban ward. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, the gunmen were believed to have carried out this heinous crime to avenge the killing of one of their own. a Fulani header known as Alhaji Isa Musa in Ataloga. Alhaji Musa was reportedly killed by 4 IPOB and ESN members while returning from the popular Ndobasi market in Ekle Ward in February this year. IPOB indeed openly claimed responsibility for the act, and the Benue state government promptly arrested the culprits and handed them over to the police, and they have since been prosecuted and convicted. Also aware that I joined the Benue state government to intervene on the matter and assuage the family of Alhaji Musa. We indeed reached a truce, but our efforts turned out to be peace of the graveyard as the family of Alhaji Musa allegedly mobilized mercenaries and launched savage attack on the peaceful and law-abiding members of my constituency, who knew nothing about the killing of Musa. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I also joined His Excellency the Deputy Governor of Benue State, Engineer Benson Abonu, to Ekle Town to condole with the people. Also notes that as the direct representatives of the people, I personally visited Ndobasin and all the Z communities where the killings took place last week. I also made donations to the Z communities and all the IDP camps on behalf of the Benue State government. Aware that the total number of 130 people were murdered by the government and have since been buried, while people who were injured are still receiving treatment in the neighboring hospitals. The multi-billion naira Ndobasi popular market was raised down, and I wept profusely at citing the carnage unleashed of my people. Oh, my people, my dear people of Izi. Aside the invasion of Ekle Ward by the Fulani government, there is ongoing crisis between the Eza and Effiong people, principally in Ulai district of Ado local government of Benue State, which has led to a spiral of killings with thousands rendered homeless, as well as the destruction of property and businesses running into billions of naira in the popular Inikiri market. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, the Ulai crisis emanated from Ohaoko local government of Ebonyi State, where the Effiong and Eza took arms against one another over a mere National Union of Road Transport Workers election, but spilled to Ado, where we also have a sizable number of Eza and Effiong people as my constituents. Also note that the Fulani-induced carnage in Izi communities and the Effiong Eza crisis have left in their wake gory tales of woes, agonies of refugees, spilling of innocent blood, and avoidable humanitarian crisis. Consequently, several IDP camps have been created in Ado to provide temporary shelter to the refugees. The House resolves to urge the National Emergency Management Agency to promptly provide relief material to the affected Izi communities in Ado local government. The House also urged the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster and Social Development to pay the medical bills of the surviving victims and grant them COVID-19 loans or grants to pick the pieces of their lives. The House urged the federal government, precisely the Inspector General of Police,
Honorable Salame, your time is off. You are distracting, Mr. Speaker.
Mobile police posts in all the border wards of Ado, namely Ekle, Juba, Kulai, and Akko.
Who's raising point of order?
Why won't his time be up? You lot there like children, we are disrupting for 4 minutes, 50 seconds. Why won't his time be up?
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I am Abubakar Hassan Fulata, President, Benue Krika Samba, Guli Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Jigawa State. Mr. Speaker, I'm coming under Order 8, Rule 4, Sub-Rule 2, 3, 4, and 5, which reads as follows. Matters of urgent public importance shall seek to address any of the following. 1. Immediate threat to life.
I beg, come out. Okay, yeah, word. So, you see, the reason why I played this for us is that whatever we do as a people, be it leaders or just ordinary people, I mean, it doesn't hurt to show empathy. When people are killed, there is a video I received yesterday, something that happened in Sokoto. I can't share it. If I ever show that on this screen, YouTube would take down this channel. It's too gory to show human beings. And then I ask us, where is our humanity for Christ's sake? It doesn't matter. We're all humans. It happens in Sokoto. The same thing happened in even in our Abakaliki, where people were macheted, children macheted. You see some people, the skin at the back is just like almost falling off. You can see, because the whole place, there is no hospital bed. People were standing up while their neck, their bodies, the deep cut of their neck, you can just basically use your two fingers like this and it can go inside. And you ask yourself, someone who hasn't done you anything, you just basically raise your hand with a knife, he hasn't done you anything, and you bring it down. He hasn't done you anything. Where is our humanity gone to? Where? Are we a people that have become beasts? That it no longer matters how we hurt one another? It's indeed sad. Indeed. While we are talking about that, last week, when the president made the statement that he made, and he said that, when he was asked about the issue of herdsmen and open grazing, and he started talking about the gazettes of the First Republic. When was the First Republic? In the early 60s. You're talking about a gazette, and we are here, 2021, 50 something years later. We have the 1999 Constitution, even when it is skewed, even when it is not, but at least that is the operational document. In that document, the powers of land use, which is called the Land Use Act, the land use usage, or the Land Use Act, is conferred on the state governors. That's why the state governors issue certificates of occupancy. If you're arguing that you're going to give people Routh where cows will be eaten, which there is a research that says that cow grazing encourages desertification. It makes, it destroys the ecosystem, that the best is to ranch. And the 2021, we're not talking about ranching, we're talking about telling the Attorney General to go get the gazettes and reactivate it. In 2021, I will come to your house where you have a touchscreen phone. And I'm telling you, there is this phone now, there is this app now, it's called WhatsApp. If you just touch my number, it will call you. You can flip it on audio. I'll be looking at you, you'll be looking at me, you'll be watching me. You just imagine the way you're watching me now, but you prefer, rather than to watch me, the way you're watching a device. Because if you're staying in a house that has broadband, internet Wi-Fi, you can, from your phone, you look at that arrow, 4 or 6 dots, you touch on it. If you have a smart TV, it moves from your TV, you go from your phone, it goes into your TV. That is called screencasting. It can begin to cast these things. Imagine you thinking of, how do I, this technology is good. You're talking about the type of technology we grew up when we used to watch a New Masquerade. My dad goes to the shop. Our television has 4 legs. Sanyo, it's called Sanyo. Sanyo, brown like wooden stuff. Sanyo. We used the channel. You turn it to make back. At the top, one side is VHS, vertical high frequency. The other one is UHS, ultra whatever high frequency. The analogy I'm trying to bring out here is, yes, there was a time that served us. Sometimes one person will be outside, we're turning the pole. Man, this new children, you wouldn't know what we suffered. Somebody will be outside turning the pole. Sometimes if you leave that pole, it would stop. So if you're unlucky that it is about to rain and the new masquerade is coming on, if you leave the pole, it will stop. you will be the one turning the pole while others are inside watching the new masquerade. That's what it is. Imagine new masquerade now is what you want to watch, where people can, you have your Netflix, you have your Amazon, you have your YouTube, you have your, every streaming services is on your smartphone. That is the future. That is the way to go. You don't want to go with that. You want to go back and stand with Sanyo. Sanyo with 4 legs. That's what open grazing means. Sanyo with 4 legs. If you do it like this, it closes. There is a long key. You put the long key, you lock it. My father will go to the shop with it. When he comes back home, you open it. If on Saturday, you know, TV opens by 4 o'clock. You will start with before there is no black. It's black and white, obviously. You know how we even converted our own TV to color. This, if you go by Lucozade, you remove the foil, the Lucozade, you use it and go and, you know, straighten it with, you bring pepper or cloth, you iron it so that it's straightened, you go and paste it in front of your TV. And that's how we turned our black and white TV into color TV. So that is what we're arguing. Someone is saying he likes that Lucozade pasting. Let us go and paste it. Let us go and search for UHF. Let us go and search for VHF. Let us, you know, lock the key and go to Asorok with the key until we come back. The time I'm telling you is the time where Reverend Fathers must go to studio, because 4 o'clock it will hear wing until the television comes on. They will start praying. A Reverend Father will pray before they start TV 4 o'clock. And that is what somebody wants you to go back to. I'm giving us this analogy for us to understand this is, for me, this is what is happening here. We are talking about ranching where you can, if you build a massive ranch, all these headers, their children that are being, you know, honestly, a lot of injustice is being done to these children. Their future has been taken away in their very own, as Zebediah would say, in their very own before. And all of us must lend our voice to stop this level of injustice happening to these kids. It's not their choice that they were born. None of you, not you, not me, chose to be Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, Ibibio, Efik. No, we didn't. None of us had that choice. But once we begin to see this level of injustice, because none of us would ever think that because you're comfortable today, then you don't care what happens to their Amajiri. You don't care what happens to, you don't care. The child you do not care about today poses serious danger for your safety tomorrow. Not only to you. Imagine at the point of your weakness, when you turn 75, 80, 85, at the point of your vulnerability, these children, you probably did not speak up for them today. They can do with us when we are weak, whatever they want to do with us. Collectively, we must begin to speak up. And I saw this video that I said I'll play for us. And again, this video reinforces what I'm talking about, because the president has the powers to speak to his people, to speak to a, you know, to this segment. Listen, I played this video. You understand why people are getting agitated and why people are getting angry. Let me quickly find, hold on. Okay, this is a video that I saw today, and maybe it might explain.
I am in Jabode at the moment, and I can see where soldiers are now leading the troop of Malu. Look at their vehicles. They are the one leading Malu of Buhari Motor, Buhari property. Look at all the whole military men controlling Malu. It is a big shock to me that army now have turned.
Now look at there. You will see Nigerian army. Hold on. Look at that frame. You see the cows and you see the armies escorting cow. That is the level we have gotten to. These are things. Like someone said here, saying that some people got electrocuted during, turning the pole, the analogy I gave, that pole. I am a victim of that. Honestly, I shouldn't be alive, but someone saved me with what's it called, bamboo tree, because I don't know what happened even till today. When I remember that, I want to go back and think, how did that happen? Was that a naked wire buried on the ground? Because I was just going to touch the pole, the thing, I was just doing like this, about to be, go down, and this man just ran. He was washing a motorcycle, Yamaha 100, I think. He got pole, just bam, on my hand. My hand fell off. That's how I survived. Now imagine driving the same analogy home. Imagine this madness happening today. It's like we are being electrocuted by this movement, because this movement is creating unnecessary tensions. The movement you see by foot, it creates tensions on the road, it creates tensions in the farmland, it creates tension everywhere. People that you would ordinarily love, cherish as your fellow citizens, you begin to suspect them, even when they are innocent. How do we know a header in the words of the president that some of them come from Mauritania? How do we know the one that come from Castina and the one that come from Mauritania? How do we know the one that is not going to kill us at night and the one that has plans to kill us and rape people at night? How do we know? There is an adage that says that every lizard is lying low. We do not know the one with stomach ache. So the only way to stop whether you get stomach ache, you get diarrhea, you get jadi, it doesn't matter, is to isolate every single person. Isolate them and we'll have peace. For Christ's sake, isolate.
It is a big shock to me that army now have turned to be a cattle rearers in Nigeria. Look at their hillocks. Following hedges of Malu, Kasi, the president of Nigeria. It's a big shock to me. It's a big shock and embarrassment to Nigerian citizens. Thank you, God, for making us to be alive to see this. Amen.
Honestly, there is, sorry, but there is nothing to thank God here, because this is indeed a tragedy. There is nothing, absolute nothing to thank God about this. It's a tragedy, and it makes me, you can't wake up, this thing diminishes us. We can't wake up and we are talking about cow, how to stop cow, and somebody is defending, this thing. Now, tell me how, if you are, the next video that I'll play, tell me if you're the farmer that have spent your time, your energy, your resources, you've gone into farm, you have vested your yam, you pack them together, cover them with leaves so that they don't rot. Now you have gone to go and get a local 911 lorry, or maybe get a trailer to come and evacuate your goods so that you can go to the market and sell, make your millions. But on your way back, you encounter something like this. How would you feel if you encounter something like this? On your way coming back, you now see that your crops, this is yam, for the cows to eat. And you see someone doing this to your system, and the cows are there feeding it. So tell me, why won't there be headers farmer? If you are the farmer, so you come and you say the header, oh, now go the Damboro, so now go the person's hand, and you say you have done well. But these things are avoidable. Look at it. This is somebody's sweat. How many millions of naira is being consumed in this way? Look at vastly, and tell me, are these Nigerians? Are these humans? Look at it, opening somebody's yam, climbing on top of it, cutting it, feeding it to. What manner of injustice and wickedness is this? What manner of injustice and wickedness is this? This is unnecessary crisis. Because the farmer wouldn't come and say you have done well. It's unnecessary crisis. And this crisis is uncalled for. Mr. President, if you're watching me, you can stop this madness from happening by accepting rank. We have gone beyond this. I gave an analogy of wanting to go and watch Sanyo TV where you have even 85 television. There is one they call Cough. Smart TV, you come in, you look into your eye and you open it. He works with Amazon Echo. Even Amazon Echo Dot or whatever. If you don't like Dot. You don't like Dot. I have another one. This is injustice. This is injustice, honestly. You know, looking at this, it breaks someone's heart. Now, tell me, after watching this video, then tell me why people will not engage in the next video coming. Tell me why people will not engage in this. Tell me why people will not suddenly. This is what is happening here. Do you know what
here is Imoson community? We are trying to pursue all these Fulanis with their cows out of our town. Kí Ọlọ́run kó là wá nílẹ̀ Yorùbá yìí ni o. Ìjẹ̀bú Imoson là wá yìí láti lé àwọn Fúlàní tí wọ́n da màálù wọ inú ìlú wa kúrò níbẹ̀. Kí Ọlọ́run kó gbà fún wa báyìí o.
Fẹ́ wọn ọjọ́ kan lọ à ń lé wọn lọ. We don't want them. We don't want Fulani herdsmen in our town.
Fẹ́ wọn.
Imoson is a peaceful town. We don't want trouble. We don't want any wahala.
Thousands of màálù náà dà wọ ìlú yìí. Gbogbo àwọn youth Imoson pátápátá. À lé wọn báyìí o.
It's my late dad normally says something. He say, when you want to separate fight, start by finger pointing, because punches are thrown when someone starts saying, "I'll deal with you," "I'll deal," coming close to you, pointing finger in your face. That's how the first punch, out of anger, is being landed. When people's, like the previous video, when people's crop are destroyed in that manner with reckless abandon, and there is no succor, there is no way, no compensation whatsoever, and the person wakes up and looks at cows again coming. That's why I keep saying it, in the 80s, in the early 90s, we used to, at least in the early 90s, we used, especially Night Mile around the Eke axis. People from Enugu know where Father Mbaka has his water plant. Around that axis, I cannot forget it. Whenever we are coming out of Eke, heading down to Onitsha, sometimes we see these people with grass cutters and antelope, very cheap. Because on their way, they kill these animals, and sell it, make extra cash. But these things, nobody talks about, all this relationship is now totally kaput, totally destroyed. Because we do not want to link up with modernity. We do not want to, we want to remain in the yesterdays. Oh, that we had grazing route in 1950. How does that sound? Does that make sense? Yes, there was a time that people were accused of witchcraft in England and they will burn you alive. But that is then. Mistakes were being done. There was a time our forefathers out of ignorance killed to win. But we can't be making an argument of bringing back the killing twins now. This things just doesn't make sense. It's too archaic. It diminishes us to even discuss and think about these things. But yeah, the next thing we say, oh, that you hate the headers. No, this is someone because of lack of governance that has led to this. I blame the Southern governors, because Southern governors, it is time, because the president has looked you in the eyes and said, oh, you can do whatever you want. Of course, the time to bite, and all of you, 17 of you, ban this thing. Listen, any cow, I don't care if that cow is owned by me or by my elder brother or by my in-law or by my enemy. Use it and make public barbecue. Let everybody, put it up. Put fire under. Everybody come and cut the one you want. Because we have to stop this madness. Use it and make barbecue. Stop this nonsense.
gbogbo ọ̀dọ́ ìlú Ìmọ̀sán àtàgbàlagbà àtọkùnrin àtobìnrin kò sẹ́ni tó bá wọn jà o, wọ́n ní kọ́kọ́ màálù wọn kọ́ máa lọ. Ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ni bí a fẹ́ wàhálà Fúlàní nílùú wa o. We don't want them. We make a peace with them now. We make a peace with them láti fi agbègbè yìí sílẹ̀. As you can see where we are now is Ifesuwapo Comprehensive High School, Ijebu Imodi Imosan.
Anyway, people, I no longer want to play this video because it's really getting me. The issue is someone is saying I need some pami for digestion. I don't even think I need pami now. I need a cold one. I need a cold one. Anyway, people, I have about 2 more videos to play, but I think honestly I'm too upset with some of these things that you keep thinking. I don't know if we have individuals governing that space called Nigeria. Because if not, why would this level of things become, be happening? These are things we should be dealing with, and not the reference of spare parts. Well, on your spare parts, no apologies. And not the reference of dot in a circle. Again, proudly dot in the circle. It verse you. Dot in the circle. Now who are be? Again, people, we must be very careful here. I think what we have is a failure of leadership, a failure. In as much as it could be that we have some foreigners coming in doing this, but what we have to do is to systematically, using the instrumentality of law, to stop this madness. It is a way of life. I can argue that it is a way of life of my ancestors that they used to kill twins. It's not an argument in 2021 that someone now gives birth to twin. I will lash out with machete because my ancestors killed twin. Then I will have to go and kill the twin. Wallahi, you find yourself, it's murder. You either will be hanged or they can do mince pile out of you. So the argument that, oh, it is a way of life, we must accept the way they live, it's very idiotic. It doesn't make sense. It's senseless. It's silly. It's anti-people. It is anti-modernity. Why don't the person making such silly statement, why don't you start riding camel? By the way, camel has been the way of life of your people. Why don't you start using horses and go from Abuja to Daura? After all, before now, that's been a way things are done. Why do you need to bother to fly chopper and fly a presidential Air Force plane? Why do you need to go to London to treat yourself? After all, your forefathers, they might mix cow dung, mix some leaves and rub it there, even if in the ear infection will go. Why do we choose one and not the other? Why don't you go and get tires and cut the tires and use them as sandals? Why do you buy one of the best spotless shoes? Why do you do that? By the way, those are the way we've been living. I went to primary school without sandals. Without sandals. You know, you go to school, your legs will be heated up. You go to ponds in the street because the roads are so bad, you know, where cars are coming in, cars will be driving like this, lungu lungu, go like this, go up, go down, just because of bad road. But in that sections, you will see collection of waters. Some of these waters are bad waters. You know, people come, you know, this face me and face you now. You know, you're supposed to know how on the Enugu, how they look now. On the streets, these things are gutter channeled everywhere. On a child walking, you're walking and you're carrying your your chair, because so that your chair cannot be stolen, you walk to school with your chair, you walk back to the house with your locker. Actually, it's a wooden locker. Every day your books will be in there, you carry it in, you carry it out. How can it be that I must insist, because that is the way I lived, or because that is the way we lived 50 years ago, that is the way my children must live? I remember the first time I bought my daughter Cortina. She laughed the living hell out of me. Cortina, you know, bata Cortina. I saw it somewhere in Enugu. I bought her Cortina. I came back, gave her the Cortina. Out of respect, you know, by her countenance, I know she didn't like it. But to tell you she didn't like it, she never wore it. And the day she wore it, maybe the bata now is no longer the bata of yesterday's. I cannot force children, because today they have clerks that they wear. Things that are padded. Clerks have, even if it says 13G, 13H, your leg, they say some are wide feet. Our own, we didn't know wide feet, slim feet, nothing. Shoe, now, even if in no size, we put tissue paper. We cut old cloth, rag, fanyia there, put it so that it will size. We cannot insist that the way we lived in the past is the way our children must live. You cannot insist that the way your forefathers reared cows is the way the nation must do. The things are changing. Things are, you know, we are moving on. We are no longer in the 60s. In the 60s, where we had gazettes. People, thank you very much for joining me this evening. I believe those in authority that watch my channel, I believe you're listening. I do not actually need to say all these things to us, because you people know it. You know it. My problem is, as the African adage says, a man who is un-African to speak while on the dining table. Maybe because you're now on the dining table, that's why you're unable to speak out. But please, do us a favor, speak. Because if not, if anything happens, it's going to affect all of us. Whether you're dining, whether you're hungry, whether you are washing your hands to get ready to dine, everyone is going to be affected. The time to condemn and speak up is now. The time is now. Again, in my senselessness, you might consider it so, but I beg of us to please do this and save the day. On that note, I will say, everybody, thank you very much for joining me. I'll take a couple of your comments, then we'll call it a day. Yes, keep it real. Life says failure of leadership. I could not agree more with you. Yes, it is failure of leadership. Which other comments? You mean Nigerian military is killing young people on site in Igbo land and Igbo worldwide are protest and not protesting? I don't know. We're not protesting. I talked about it here. If that is not a protest, tell me what it is. Everybody protest in a manner, in a way they understand that they can. Mazi, let me say, Mazi, they are using cow as a weapon of conquest. It has nothing to do with cow rearing. Cow as a weapon of conquest. Am I right? Might be right. Might be right. Okay, everyone, thank you very much for joining me. It has been a pleasant evening, and join me next. We'll keep talking. We'll keep, we'll keep doing what we think we can. Let's keep doing, everyone. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. Please, subscribe to this channel if you haven't. Like and share this video. Share with others, and one day something must give way. We cannot be like this forever. On that note, thank you very much once more for joining me. I remain Mazes. Okay. Peace out.